Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. My 29 meters wife, 28F, confessed to cheating on me years ago on the night before our wedding, but she's pregnant now, and it's been so long I'm unsure what to do. So my wife and I got married when we were 23 to 24. Since getting married she's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. Anyway, she recently announced to me she is pregnant now, which should have been incredible news, but the day after she made her announcement to me she said we need to talk. When she sat me down she told me the night before our wedding she was having anxieties about the wedding, and our friend who was also my best man apparently helped her calm down. She said they had a couple of drinks and one thing led to another. I have not yet confronted him about it. The night before the confession we literally had him over for dinner. I'm staying at my parents' beach house right now. I just had to remove myself from everyone and everything to figure out what I want to do. I love my wife, and I want to forgive her for our baby. She is not only a cheater and liar, she is manipulative as duck. Why did she lie about it until now? Because she knows you won't want to leave the baby, so she waited to unburden her own conscience until she had that ace up her sleeve. Now she has put the entire burden on you. If you leave her, which you should because she is cheating garbage and always will be, you will look like the bad guy because she's pregnant. If you stay, she has a clear conscience and has passed every ounce of the pain onto you to have to live with. He is not your friend and never has been. She is not trustworthy and never has been. They have probably been ducking all along. Get a paternity test the minute that baby exits her body, because there is only a 50-50 chance it's your kid. Don't even have to wait till the babies are born for a paternity test, you can get one done while it's still in the womb. The sooner the better to know if it's his or not. I think it's a big chance that it's the so-called best friends. She told of the cheating years later after they had dinner with the friend the night before. Like she giving him a heads up, it may or may not be yours, don't be surprised. Agree with everything you said. But I think chances are that it's probably 99.99999% the friend's baby. I don't know why I never considered that it would have not been my baby. She insisted it was only that once. Don't trust cheaters when they say it's only once. No one tells the whole story. Ever. Found it out the hard way and then got to know I wasn't the only one this thing happened to. It happens all the time. To a whole lot. If I confront my friend he might give me further answers, if I go about it properly. If you choose to try that route, you might try approaching him more open-ended and start by just saying that she came clean about the two of them. Don't offer many more details than that and he'll be the one having to try to fill in the info, though don't be surprised if he's not that forthcoming either. Who knows? So I did end up confronting my friend and I went about in an open-ended way as suggested. I was thinking of doing an update because it was an interesting conversation to say the least, so as many suspected it was not just a one-off. He says the child is definitely not his. We'll have to see about that. Things got a little heated. I'm struggling to deal with it all and am yet to decide if I should stick around for our kid or not. I know that makes me seem like a pushover, but I really want to give my baby a stable home, unlike me with two parents, something I never had. I was so excited to start a family. We just bought our first home and everything. I texted my wife for the first time after her telling me, to tell her I know the affair was ongoing, and she just responded with, "Can we discuss this in person?" I said I didn't want to look at her right now, to which she made no response. This sucks, huh? I'm sorry man, truly. Here's the continuing shitty thing, you have to approach that upcoming conversation with her in a similar manner because you now have your verification that she is trickle-truthing you. This isn't new or original, and I am legitimately sorry that you are having to deal with it, but you need to keep your shit together right now. I say this from experience, as I have been in your shoes and I know what it can feel like. I won't pretend that I handled it as cleanly as I advise you to, but that's why I say it. People backed into this corner plan the conversation out as well, to varying degrees. Don't doubt it for a second. You have learned a lot about the two people closest to you in a short time, mostly centered on their ability to lie to your face in the long term successfully. Take this to heart, or do not at your own risk. Personally, I would give her zero information beyond what you have said so far, and simply tell her to explain, though a common trend is that the two of them may try to get their story straight together now that they both know you know. You will have to navigate some shitty waters with this. I won't tell you what to or not to do with your relationship, as that's for you to decide after some serious soul searching, but be sure that you will have a lot of bitterness waiting to dwell in you that will need handling. Be conscious of it, because if the baby is yours, you will have to deal with it for a long time. That's why I don't even want to talk to her about it. I know enough. What could she possibly tell me that's productive to know now? The fact that she even lied to you when she confessed to what she did is brutal, and like I said before, just another reason to not believe a single word she says. You are doing the right thing by not talking to her, and I think that you need to learn to accept that you will never truly know how far their affair progressed. Because the only ones who can answer you that all would be them, and they both have shown you how easy it is for them to lie to you, to hurt you and not to care about you as long as they get what they want. But knowing about their affair at least explains why she had doubts about getting married to you. There were surely emotions involved from her side as well. Emotions that led to her doubts about marrying you. Do you have someone in your life that you still trust? Maybe parents, siblings, or a different good friend? Please don't be alone all the time now, and instead go to one of them and talk to them. Find support for yourself. In addition, meet with a lawyer, and when you are there, then also ask if the lawyer knows a good counselor that is specialized in recovering from infidelity. Also meet with a doctor and get tested for STDs. Just because they didn't care about your health doesn't mean that you should do the same. Get tested. Better safe than sorry. Don't be afraid to ask for help. In addition, please stay away from alcohol or drugs. They won't help you. You are worth so much more than to be treated this way. Unfortunately, there's no one I can or want to turn to. I have a therapist, but I don't know, I feel kind of on my own here. Frown. Wow, so your whole marriage is built on a lie. I am sorry that you have to experience this. First of all, I would advise you to not believe any further words she says. She has shown you how easy it is for her to lie to you. Doubt everything she tells you from now on. Take it a step further. Maybe they just had sex once, though I doubt that, but that she went to him when she had doubts, that she made herself vulnerable to him and then had sex with him is for me a clear indicator that something happened before. At least an emotional affair. That she hasn't at least cut him out of her and your life afterwards shows how little respect she has for you. She even invited him to dinner right before she told you. The contact with him is more important to her than your marriage. Just like the sex with him was more important to her than your marriage. That all are decisions she made for her affair partner and against you. Before you make any decision, please go to a lawyer and inform yourself about what a divorce will look like for you. To make an informed decision, you need to know what each option will look like. Make your decision right afterwards without talking to them again. All you will hear are either lies or things that you can't believe. I guarantee you that they already have talked since you left, to synchronize their stories. You don't really believe that she would tell you honestly that they had sex more often, right? That they had an ongoing affair. That would only put her marriage at bigger risk. Like I said above, don't believe anything they tell you unless they can prove it. You are worth so much more than to be treated this way. Lol, how convenient that the guilt is too much that she has to tell you when she's pregnant. What a way to save herself from divorce. A couple of drinks don't make you cheat on your partner, and less than 5 minutes before the most special day in your life starts. With one of your friends? Why has he in that room? Shouldn't the bridal party be there and him with your men? Might be me, but I don't believe it was the first time. It may have been the first time that became carnal, sexual. But had they never flirted before when all of you would hang out? The typical situation in a movie where it takes place in a house where all friends/family are in the living room and two characters go for wine to the kitchen and there's some flirting. Good luck with that. Make sure is your baby, not your best friend. Lol, divorce her right now. Because if the baby isn't yours and is born in wedlock, you will be on the hook for child support your whole lifetime. Bitches really are cheating before marriage day and still act like they are the greatest wife ever. Dump this trashy hoe, she belongs to streets. Paternity test like right now. Today itself. I think you need to have a talk with both of them separately. First, has your wife even tried to talk to you after you distanced yourself? Did she seem like she was remorseful? Sorry to be harsh, but your wife is a cheater and he was never your friend. I think you need to consider your options here that everyone is giving you. I think it's best you stay separate until you get a paternity test to prove this is your child. Also, she and him have probably been with each other more than once since the wedding, and she is only telling you now because there is a high chance the baby is his. With that being said, are you willing to raise another man's child if the baby is not yours? I think what she told you is just the tip of the iceberg. Very difficult for me to believe that the night before the wedding she was with him and not with her sister, close girlfriend's mother, but with him, and why? To say goodbye to their affair before she gets married. They had this going on for more than 5 years, and now that she is pregnant is trying to end it. Dude, she is playing you. Get the truth and divorce her, let everyone know. Are you certain she is going to want to keep the baby if you choose to divorce her? Her betrayal is one of the worst I have heard of. I would certainly suspect him to be the father and not you. It seems like the dinner was for the two of them to celebrate their pregnancy. Honestly, the best case scenario here for you is if the baby is his. You get to leave them both behind after the divorce. Their betrayal is heinous, and getting away from both of them without being tied to someone that could do this to you by having a child would be devastating. They also most definitely talked about telling you before she did, so they have got their story straight. Did she ever actually say the words "I'm sorry"? I also just realized that she did the announcement with him there. She wasn't announcing it to you, it was to him, so he knows they might be having a child. My 29 meters wife, 28F, is pregnant, but I found out she's been cheating on me on regular basis with a good friend, 29 meters, of ours. Okay, so it's only been a day since I made the original post, but there's been a new development. It's no longer entirely about whether I should forgive her and more about where to go from here. I won't make any more updates unless asked or if something major happens. So, I confronted my friend. He lives close to my parents' beach house, where I'm staying, so I invited him over to have a chat. Here is a quick sequence of events. So after some casual exchanges, I sat him down. I could tell he was confused, perhaps nervous, but he had a smugness about him. I wasn't looking my best, but I could tell he was thinking I looked tired. I sat him down. I'm gonna type in script format cause it's easier. I've had a few drinks. Me, how's wife? Him, I don't know. Last time I saw her was at yours. Me, right, cause I know what gone on. I left it as open-ended as possible to see if he would confess to something I didn't already know. After some denial and feigned confusion, he finally makes his confession. Him, she told you we've been ducking? His words, not mine. Me, not in detail, but yes, that's why I'm here. Him, yeah, well, she wasn't lying. After that, I went on to ask him a series of questions that I regret asking, a bit of emotional self-harm I guess, but he was more than happy to answer, which was painfully off-putting. Things like, how often, when, where, among other more embarrassing things. I wish I didn't know the cause. Now it's playing in my mind like crazy and I'm a big ducking idiot. The one thing he denies with certainty is the child isn't his. I don't know why he's so sure, but I am inclined to believe him for some reason. Anyway, I want to give my baby the best life possible. I did everything right. I make money, I'm attractive, I work out, I treated my wife like the goddess I truly believed she was. All she had to do was let me love her and I would have given her and our child everything. We just bought a home. When she told me she was pregnant, I was over the moon only to have this happen. After this encounter, my friend offered to hang out to make sure I was okay. We've been friends for years and knows I've suffered from mental health issues in the past, and he was being a good guy by looking out for me, but frankly I think he wanted to stay and drink all my booze whilst laughing in my face been sleeping with my wife. I punched him, he said he deserved it and he left. I messaged my wife telling her I know the relationship was ongoing and she responded with "let's talk about this in person." I said I didn't want to look at her, she didn't respond. Anyway, here's the advice part. Naturally, I think the obvious step now is to leave her. I really don't want to. I know that's not what I'm supposed to say. I know I'm supposed to want to enact revenge and give her the comeuppings, leave her out on her ass with nothing, but that's just not in me. I had a plan for my life, and that plan included her. I know people don't have an easy time online believing that things can be more than black and white. I thought she loved me. Those were the first words I'd hear from her every day. If she wasn't pregnant I would leave, and I'm still considering leaving. I just want to know how to go about being a good father and ex-husband. Ideally, I'd gain main custody, but as we know that's not usually easy for the guy. Financial support is an obvious one. Secondly, I want to know where to go from here. Do I see her in person? I don't want more details because what my friend told me is enough disgusting information to last me a traumatic lifetime. She currently in our home and I didn't plan for this because I ducking wasn't expecting this. No prenup, my parents are wealthy bohemian artist types, there will be no help emotionally. They were swingers for Christ's sake. I hate this. TLDR, turns out my friend and my wife have been sleeping together more often than just once. Typical. I want to leave but I will. I want to be a good father to the child currently in her womb, which my friend insists is not him despite admitting to everything else. I've been intoxicated for what feels like 24 hours, I don't know where to go from here as I've never planned for a divorce. Update, I've gotten some consistent sleep and even though I've slept all day I feel rested. I've organized to see my wife. She said she will make us dinner and we will sit down and discuss what happens next. I know a lot of people have said not to see her or talk to her, but I have to know why. I also have to tell her I want a paternity test. I've really appreciated all the kindness and criticisms sent my way. I feel like I have a small community on my side which has helped me get through this in a healthier way. Perhaps it's been a distraction, but regardless I've needed this. I want to keep everyone interested updated because it helps me feel heard. Thanks again. Update 2, so the dinner happened. She made my favorite meal. She was dressed up beautifully. She was really trying to just make it hard for me. Upon entering the house I was excited to see her. I had spent the whole time in the car practicing what I was going to say and trying to think about all the ducked up things my friend told me to work myself up into. But upon entering the house and smelling her cooking and perfume I was struggling. After she tried to greet me with a kiss but I nudged her off of me, she offered me a drink, which I accepted and I sat down at the table. She served me my food and sat down. We sat in silence for a bit whilst I ate. I hadn't eaten since finding out, so to my surprise I was able to get in a few bites before the anxiety of the situation got the best of me. I finished my drink and as she was making me another drink I finally said, "So why did you do it?" Her response at first was, "I don't know." This pissed me off. How could she not ducking know? So I repeated myself. This is when she seemed to open up a little more. Perhaps she could sense I was getting frustrated. She sat down and explained to me that she just felt trapped and she just needed something separate from me, in more detail, but that was the gist. She insisted she loved me but sometimes she needed a break from reality. I asked her if the baby was mine. She said yes. I asked her how she was certain and she said that my friend has had a vasectomy. I feel like that's something he would have told me, so I said I didn't believe her and I want a paternity test. She graciously agreed. Of course, she did. She's always been gracious and receptive to my ideas. After she agreed, I asked if she was unhappy. Why didn't she talk to me? If she needed a break from reality, I would have paid for a vacation or a spa week, or if she wanted to start a side hobby, something I would have been in full support of. As I was saying this, I began to cry. She got up and cradled my head against her chest. This is where I ducked up. I just held her and cried as she comforted me. She lifted my head and started kissing me. I didn't push her off for a few minutes. I knew this was the last time I would have an intimate moment with her, and I wanted to mourn her embrace. I snapped myself out of it after a while and stood up abruptly. I went to the bar and made myself one last drink and told her, after the test, we'd be getting a divorce. This is where she began to cry and kept telling me I had to be there for our baby, and she won't be able to be the best mother she can be without having her strength. I am her strength, apparently, by her side. After some back and forth, I was about to leave, but she said I should stay because I was drinking. So I did. I went to sleep in the guest room, but she insisted we just sleep in the same bed together for old time's sake. She tried to hold me in her sleep. I let her, but I remained limp in her arms. Then as soon as the sun began to rise, I snuck out. I'm back at the beach house. I called a lawyer. Last update. I am back at my home. She is also here. We are not sleeping in the same room, and no, I'm not taking her back. It'll just be easier to organize the divorce. This was. It was my idea, not hers. We tried to have sex on my first day back. I couldn't make it work. Too many images of her and my friend. She seems to have accepted the divorce. She's pleaded a little and insists she loves me. I told her I still love her but can't forgive her. After that, we haven't communicated much. I've been in contact with my lawyer. I'm meeting a girl tonight. I was not advised by my lawyer to see anyone during this time, but I need this. I'm doing better. I had a dark moment where I thought of some dark things, but quickly snapped out of it once I thought of my potential child. I also am worth so much to so many people. I am ready to play human again. I really appreciate everyone checking in on me even days later. Things have moved so fast, I'm shocked at how quickly one's life can change. I received a drunken phone call from my friend, and I have an idea of why he did what he did to me, and it's no excuse and I don't forgive him, but the phone call is probably what pulled me out of the slump I was in. He basically admitted being resentful and envious of me, which was an ego boost at least. Thanks again to everyone. TLDR, I nearly gave in to her, but I didn't. She said she needed something separate from me, which is why she cheated, and that the baby can't be my friend cause he's had a vasectomy. I told her I didn't believe her and wanted a paternity test anyway. We ended up sharing the same bed, but I snuck out. She tried to convince me to stay. I've contacted a lawyer. They have been having an ongoing affair for years, at least 5 years. She ducked him the night before you guys got married. Let that sink in. Your wife and good friend have been deceiving you and ducking for 5 years. She has zero respect or love for you. Don't say you want to stay to give your baby a stable home. If you stay, it will not be a stable home with that vile woman in your life. Get some self-respect and start calling lawyers and demand a paternity test. I have decided I have to leave. Even if I don't want to, I will be getting a paternity test. I know she doesn't respect me. I'm shattered that whilst I thought everything was fine, she was ducking my friend in the home I wanted to raise a family. Hope you can maintain this level of clarity. You have 2 cancers in your life, remove them ASAP. Please stop calling him your good friend. This is the ideal idea. I'm really sorry you had to experience this, but you have looked at it in a way where your wife never truly loved you the way you loved her. She's 2 faces. The image or person you loved was fake. She acted like that in front of you and behaved like that. What I would recommend: get a lawyer. Very important to come up with a plan to divorce. This is important. I know that you don't want any facts from either one of them, but try to get some as proof. Keep your conversations between you wife by text or email from now on and save everything that has been said. Like I said, keep your communication via text. If you do have to meet up, make sure you bring some along and have a recorder. Get DNA tested on the child before you do anything. The proof that you saved, start letting it out to close family and friends. If you don't, they will make a story up and try to control the narrative. Once the divorce papers are ready, you have two options. Option 1. If the child is yours, then be in his/her life. Work as a co-parent. Be there for the child. Any communication between your ex now should be only about the child. Option 2. If it is not yours and illegally you don't need to be a part of the child's life, then there's no reason to stay. Ghost her. Lastly, this is for you. Treat this as a learning period and a roadblock. This isn't the end, it'll be tough, but you recover and get back to where you want to be. She is not the only girl, there are many more, and one day when you're ready you meet someone that loves you as much as you do. Work on yourself. Get therapy, hit the gym, get close with friends and use them for support. 5. Time and effort. It will take time, but you need to put in the effort. You need to forget about her. Good luck. Enough with the self-pity. Try some anger, it's actually much more productive if used correctly. A lawyer and a shrink can help focus that. Most likely, the little bastard isn't yours and you can kick them both out and have zero financial or emotional hooks in you. You got straight played and you need the wife, the friend, and the baby all in the rearview mirror, forever. Therapy like right now for your low self-worth issues. She is 11/10. What do you rate yourself then? 3/10? Because you sure as hell act like she is the only woman who will enrich your life and make you happier. Goddamn it, idiot, what does it take for you to open your eyes? Dude, people who have standards won't even touch your wife with a pole. Because she is unworthy and trash. You deserve much better than that cheating, lying hoe. I am a woman and I date women. I wouldn't even bat an eye irrespective of how charismatic and attractive she is, because she is characterless and unworthy. First you go to your own house, throw the bitch out and initiate divorce. Paternity test, and if the kid is yours you are trapped. You think the kid is a blessing? You won't when she openly bangs another one of your friends and starts living with him. Think of the future and take action. Stop being so lenient, she doesn't deserve any respect or mercy. I most certainly think of myself as a 10/10. On paper, I can't be the judge of how other people view me, but she's a fantastic woman and I'm not gonna put down her positive attributes because she hurt me. I'd be lying if I said she wasn't smart, funny, beautiful and cultured. She enriched my life because I loved/love her. In my head she was my soulmate, regardless of the fact it's likely another woman will come along and perhaps she will enrich my life. If/when that happens I'll embrace it. It's important to me to conduct myself in a dignified manner, and it is not within me to belittle her. Yes, she's a bad person, yes she's a bitch, yes she hurt me so badly I want to leave everything behind, go on a 3-week bender, take the house and never speak to her again, and invite a hot brunette over to help me forget about things. What good would that do? What good it would do is, that bitch will be out of your life before she screws you further. Dude, you are on hook for child support by default. She takes half of your assets and she screws your friend in your home. I don't know what more it will take you to do something about it other than crying how great she is. If your best friend came to you and told her husband did this, what is your suggestion? To tolerate it silently and let him get away with it? Or will you tell her to get up and throw the man out? Don't go on dignity tirades when she has shown you zero respect and isn't worthy of any dignified conversation. She won't get the house, it's in my name, and I won't mind spending money on child support. I want my child to have the best life possible. Who she chooses to duck after the divorce is up to her, whether I'm happy about it or not. But have you done a paternity test? Do we know it's your child? And that it's not your friend's child? I will be doing one eventually, yeah, I don't know, but I hope not. I am mad at her. She's a terrible person, but it's better to put down something not relevant because they've done something wrong. She never in the past gave me a reason to get mad. We never once argued. That is no exaggeration, not because she pushed me around but because I thought we were so in sync. She is awful for what she did, for all this time. I'd be lying if I said she wasn't smart, funny, beautiful and cultured. She's not smart. She cheated on the man that loves her and would take care of her. She most likely let that guy knock her up. That's not smart. Doesn't sound like that friend of yours wants to take care of her. She'll get to go through life as a single mother who is a known cheater. That's even less attractive to a man than front butt and back boobs. Funny? What's funny about what she did to you? Beautiful? Beauty is only skin deep. She's ugly to the bone. Cultured? That's probably an infection. Did you schedule a doctor visit to get checked for STD/ST yet? Brother, she is none of that. That's a mask she wore. Maybe, I just have to get used to hating her. I want to believe she's the woman I fell in love with, but I guess not. Brother, I hate my first wife for what she did to me. For what she cost me. 3 decades of estrangement from my family. I'll take that hate to the grave with me. My second wife. I still feel a lot of anger towards her. But hate? Nope. I don't hate her, and when the anger goes away I won't feel anything for her at all. That is the goal. To feel nothing towards her. When you hate, you've still got them in your heart and head. Don't learn to hate her, learn to feel nothing about her. You don't have to hate her, but stop worshipping her. She's not the woman you fell in love with. It was an act all along. She's been sleeping with your friend for 5 years. She's not a good person. Hating someone only hurts you. She doesn't care if you hate her. In fact, she would probably enjoy it if you hate her because that gives her power over you. Your maturity level is admirable. You've got this. If this is your child, and if you really want to do what's best for your child, then there's no need to be hateful toward the mother. Don't burden your child with any unsettled shit between you and your ex. Focus on being a great father and not on being an asshole for the rest of your life. The one thing he denies with certainty is the child isn't his. So it is his? Get out anyway. I misspoke, sorry, like I said, I've been drinking. My fingers are crossed it's his kid. Get it tested ASAP. Your friend felt so cool telling you all about his cheating, but if the kid is his what amazing karma. He's obviously not in love with her, or else he probably wouldn't tell you about all the intimate details, which makes it all the more satisfying thinking of him permanently attached to your gross soon-to-be ex-wife because of a kid. Smiley face, sweet sweet karma. Meanwhile, you can cut ties. He tried making it a pissing contest, but it could end up with him having to live with the fact that you've ducked the mother of his child. Make sure the child is yours. Do not sign any birth certificate or put your name on anything until you're sure. Don't know the country you're in, but being the paperwork father in the US will make you a financially responsible parent in the eyes of the court. So you don't even know if they are going to stop seeing each other. She is still seeing him after becoming pregnant. Did your friend mention using condoms? DNA and STD tests are in your future. The way she responded to your text makes me think she is not sorry and will most likely leave you. From the info given to me, I can deduce they didn't use condoms. I think an STD and DNA test is essential. I'd hope they'd have the decency to not see each other during all of this. From what it sounded like, the relationship was entirely sexual, so I don't think she'd leave me for him. The only saving grace is they don't love each other. I couldn't handle that, NGL. Just know that the info you are counting on, only sexual, not loving each other and thinking they won't still see each other, is coming from 2 of the people who have betrayed you the most. Deceit is the cornerstone of what they have been doing. Lies to you have come natural to them both. Be vigilant and critical of anything you hear. 5 ducking years, how can it not be romantic? Why would she want to leave? She gets treated better than the Queen of Sheba at home and can run across the street for a first-class sticking down anytime she wants. Dude, this situation is rotten to the core. You are getting sloppy seconds when you thought you turned her on. How could you possibly want more of this? I don't, it makes me sick to think about. You sound emotionally beat down. Like you have no feelings whatsoever. The way you describe your talk with this guy is very awkward to say the least. You love her, you want to keep her. I'm wondering how your demeanor was for the friend to offer to stay and drink beer. Do you even care about yourself? Two people close to you have betrayed you in the cruelest way imaginable, and here you are almost defending them and justifying their actions to us. Like you deserved it. What does your parents' lifestyle have to do with this matter? So because they swing, it's understandable for your wife to screw another man? You are so passive, I'm inclined to be angry on your behalf, but I'm more mad at you. You should have already gone the legal route and DNA etc. Instead you are waiting. For what? I'm waiting to feel better. I don't want to act on emotion, I just want to wallow for a bit. My parents can't be an emotional safety net, because they don't get it. They free spirits. They tell me some dumb shit about maybe she just had a spiritual connection to my friend or something stupid ducking nonsense. They're useless for this kind of thing, duck them. They wouldn't see it as a big deal if she's been ducking him your entire marriage, including on the eve of the wedding. That's not being a free spirit, that's having absolutely no concern for their son. Something you need to understand, he was not and never was your friend. You were his. He was definitely not yours. Keep telling yourself this. Just read the update. She did it because she wanted to, the opportunity arose and she took it. That's simple. If she really wanted to duck someone who wasn't her husband, I imagine she could have chosen someone who wasn't your friend. I was confused about the two, like my friend is still part of my world, like I don't get it. Your friend got off easy by just getting punched. I would have beaten the so-called friend to a pulp. Ask for abort. Never ever talk to them again. Cut them from your life and cut them deep. Take vengeance by never ever in your life seeing them again. Go into therapy. Take yourself together, life goes on and you are young still. These people don't have not only respect but don't give a duck about you. In your partner's eyes you are a loser. Thinking of her seeing me that way is shattering, but you're right. How is it I'm the perfect guy on paper but still get cheated on? My mother always taught me there's nothing wrong with knowing your worth. I'm okay with admitting I know my assets. I don't think I'm arrogant about it usually. Regardless, I worked hard to get a high-paying job, I got lucky with the genetic lottery, plus I look after myself, I am tall, well endowed, I'd like to think I'm funny, but everyone thinks they're funny. I am usually charming, and well liked. I still felt like I'd won when my wife and I got together. She's better than me in most ways. Except she still ducks my friend for the entirety of our relationship, in my home, in our bed. I tried to be the perfect husband, I tried to give her the world because I genuinely thought that's what she deserved. The only thing I required of her is to love me and I do the rest. Anyone can fall victim to infidelity, I guess. You're thinking from the false premise that cheating has to do with what attributes their partner does or doesn't have, when in reality it's what moral characteristics they themselves have or don't have. I am also incredibly humble. Sorry bro. If I were you I'd focus less on looks and more on substance. I have both, I think. I meant, in a partner. Upon rereading my post I didn't even say anything about her looks. She is beautiful too. He obviously lacks something. A good moral person will not lie and betray the person they love for years. You need to be horrible on the inside. All her exterior qualities do not match with the inside. Matthew 23:27. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. Dude, this is not your fault, it has nothing to do with you, and when you describe yourself, I get it, you are the kind of guy a woman most likely won't cheat, but you married a monster. Don't stay, don't gratify her cheating with you trying to reconcile this farce. This is not a marriage. This is fraud, get lawyers involved. Did I not make it clear she was perfect in every way? meaning she has looks and substance. That is the woman you thought she was, not the woman that she actually is. She absolutely doesn't have the substance. Women with substance don't cheat. She's better than me in most ways is where you went wrong and why she cheated. Unfortunately, that's why I fell in love with her, because she was smart, beautiful, funny and independent. I don't want a weak woman. If you don't want weakness in a woman, then why are you acting so weak? If you haven't already retained a lawyer by now, you are weak. If you are as you describe yourself, you'll have no trouble finding someone that won't cheat, and have some self-respect and dump the best friend. I know you said you were going through with a divorce, but I'm not sure that's what your posts convey. If it is your kid, co-parent separately like millions of other divorced parents do. Lawyer the hell up and get some evidence of the affair on tape if it matters in your state. Recording your STBXW talking about the affair or telling your friend that you have more questions and getting their answers on tape should help. Regardless, don't abandon the house, it works against you in court. Get a placental DNA test so you know long before the birth. Don't be weak and take her back, she will just do it again. Spouses who cheat with their best friend are a particular brand of scum. They will never be faithful. I think the perfect guy would encompass all those traits, but be a bit more humble about it. I don't want to kick a guy while he's down, but you were betrayed by your wife and your friend. Two people close to you. You can do all the right things and it can come off in all the wrong ways if it is combined with this type of attitude. You may not think others can see it, but people can sense this in a person. Maybe this experience will humble you a bit, but I suspect you will just blame it on a flaw in their characters and go on thinking you had nothing to do with it. Maybe you didn't have anything to do with it, and yes, it can happen to anyone. But your post is extremely arrogant, and I wouldn't be surprised if that attitude shines through a bit in your interactions with others, whether you realize it or not. I say this not because I am trying to be mean, but because I was the exact same way and had a similar thing happen. I can see it for what it is now. I can see where I went wrong. I understand what you mean and I appreciate you telling me how it is. You weren't being mean, I appreciate the criticism. Personally, I think it's just how I was raised. I can't speak to whether people think I come off as arrogant in my daily interactions. I'd hope not. I just never saw any use in pretending I didn't have the things I do. I'm proud to be successful and handsome, and whilst I only worked for one of those things, I'm not going to deny myself the enjoyment of confidence. The more I remind myself of my positive attributes, the better I feel, making me feel like a more pleasant person to be around. Dude, no. Self-reflection is good, but there are shitty people everywhere. And sometimes those shitty people happen to be your partner and, if you are really unlucky, your friend. Notice how people would not have said it was probably you dude/dudette, if it was your brother/father/uncle/ etc. ducking your wife/GF. Either way, though it hurts, good riddance of two rubbish, right? I don't agree that it's his fault at all. But depending on how he comes off, he might struggle with future relationships. I wonder how his other relationships are. Because a lot of women do not like men who excessively brag or are full of themselves, even if it's true. Self-confidence is great. Arrogance isn't. That's the trap with cheating. The people who are cheated on always ask the same questions about what they could have done or the things they should have noticed. Cheaters don't really consider you in the calculation. I can't read other people's minds, but you are too close to the problem. Your girl cheated on you with your friend. The way I see it, your girl and your friend were the ones with the relationship. You were just an ATM used to finance their fun. Cheaters are a different breed. It's a weird game they play too. In order to cheat, a relationship is required. I used to take advantage of knowing that specific detail when I was a bartender. How do they know you are in a relationship? You tell them and make sure you have a few artifacts, a wedding ring, some photos of an ex, a clean and organized apartment that would terrify your ex because it looks like a shrine to them. I know someone is going to say I'm wrong for doing it. It was worth it. I got exactly what I wanted. The women that cheat or that hunt married men are good looking. They are skilled conversationalists. Most of them would be amazing partners if they actually were capable of real emotion. I did that dance for a whole year after I had been cheated on. It was cathartic. I don't feel bad about it because I was performing a service by being bait for homewreckers. I was keeping the men who would have fallen for them safe. That is the one thing I don't ever see anyone speak of when they are cheated on. They always want 100% transparency, but the wayward spouse won't express the seduction to spare feelings of the betrayed, or they don't want to admit to being duped. You were seduced by a woman who never told you the truth from the day she met you. The person you believe existed was an elaborate fiction. Your ex was damaged long before you met her, and the character you fell for was the result of hard work and dedication. I'm sorry that people like this exist, but they do. It's a strange cycle of hurts. If you ever get to know a cheater, the person not them, ask. If you don't believe me, conduct the same experiment. You have the ring, the wedding album, and it doesn't take much to turn a bachelor pad into a home. I had been cheated on, and my ex, who betrayed me and broke my heart, was long gone. Every time I hooked up with a cheater and brought them back to my place, I got a piece that was taken back. What cheaters are and aren't became clear. Eventually you hit your limit. You and I aren't built or damaged enough to sustain that kind of lifestyle. There are some that will argue that cheaters are people with parents, friends, etc. Cheaters are incomplete people. Childhood traumas, incest, abusive parents, rape, drug abuse or addiction are somewhere in the lives of what becomes a cheater. You will hear about it from them on occasion, when they feel safe. Cheaters are tragically broken and incomplete people. I honestly don't think there is anything that can be done for them but to feel sorry for them. I know you are hurting, but you will get over it, and you are capable of real emotion and developing real bonds with other people. Your ex is a broken person trying to approximate emotion and concern for others. She struggles to accomplish the outward appearance of normalcy, and because of that will never be able to maintain a healthy and meaningful life. You don't need to do anything to her at all. She will do it to herself and be perplexed by why nothing works out for her. Cheating never was about you. You gave your heart to someone who was incredibly broken from God knows what. You extended the hand of friendship to a broken man, as well. They deserve each other, and if they stay together, just realize you don't know what goes on behind closed doors and be grateful for that. For now, take care of yourself. Stop hurting yourself over a failed relationship. You took a double loss with this one. Counseling is the best thing for your head and your heart. Eat right, hit the gym, and maintain a sleep schedule. Limit or avoid drugs and alcohol altogether for the near future. Your counselor will tell you what I did was wrong. He's right, it involved deception. Everybody wants to believe the fiction in front of them. The suspension of disbelief is a thing we all use to convince ourselves on a daily basis. I took advantage of that. I generally didn't need to lie, I just never corrected other people's assumptions. I did this for my pride and my sense of self-worth, and I don't regret it for a second. I got something back that I was struggling with, and it gave me a different perspective. The lesson has been valuable in helping me to identify and avoid cheaters in my day-to-day life. It has given me peace of mind. Good luck and take care of yourself. I really appreciate this well thought out and elaborate response. You are 100% right. I feel a little better after reading this. Many thanks. No problem, but I think a little therapy wouldn't hurt. Go easy on yourself, my friend. I have no idea why so many people are dead set on blaming you for this somehow. I'm really sorry for you. Life is definitely not fair when it comes to love. I'm just confident. I'm genuinely curious about what's arrogant about this. People have never expressed to me that I come off as arrogant. Hey everyone, look at me, I'm so awesome. How can anyone find me unattractive? You probably don't spout off how amazing you are, but this whole post breeds arrogance. Not in the outright kind of way. More like I know I'm better than you. Your behavior and actions around others are how you present as a narcissist. I'm sorry about your situation. Despite this post, I don't think you deserve this. No one does. Seek therapy because this is an incredibly shitty situation that will require some external sorting out. I don't mean to be rude, but perhaps you reading that I'm saying I'm better than everyone is a projection. I didn't say I was better than anyone. Confidence is being okay with being wrong, told you're not what you are, or making mistakes. You are confident that you aren't or can overcome your mistakes/negatives. Arrogance is when you are in denial of negativity and put yourself on more of a pedestal to cancel out someone else's negativity. You responded with, "That's fair to assume so, as I am talking highly about myself. However, this is just how I feel about myself genuinely, and if other people see me in a different light, that's okay," would be confident. Saying something like, "No one has ever called me arrogant and people praise me for who I am," that's arrogance. "My ex-husband was perfect on paper but Earl not so much." That sounds like you. What do you mean not so much? Well, on paper he was absolutely perfect. Came from a good family and from money. Classically handsome, funny and brilliant. Well-mannered, polite, strong and kind. Excelled at everything he tried his hand at, was raised to take over the family business and didn't shirk from his duty. The prom king, captain of the football team in high school all the way to adulthood where he absolutely made it, always at the top. People were so jealous of me, they wanted to be in my place. If they only knew. IRL he was a petulant asshole who thought way too highly of himself. His mask would dip here and there, showing a glimpse of the stuck-up prick he really was. He truly thought he was better than everyone around him because of his qualities. He became intolerable, distasteful, so I divorced him. He died at the age of 37 last November. COVID, he still thought he was invincible. Right, sorry to hear about that, him being an asshole I mean. I try my best to be gracious and avoid being smug and arrogant. Maybe I am, I don't know. Maybe that's why she was cheating, maybe she was unhappy and off-put by my behavior. What am I supposed to do? You seem like a cool dude, honestly, I'd defo date you lol, but that's not the question, ha ha ha. I honestly think you just got unlucky. People are saying that you need to be humble or whatever, but honestly you don't seem arrogant, just realistic and genuinely well-meaning. Good luck going forward. There are plenty of girls who would appreciate you, just a question of finding the right one. It sucks that your previous partner was unfaithful, but truly that's their flaw, not something you caused. Nothing here is really screaming perfect guy. Successful and good looking, throwing index eyes while complaining about your ex is giving off nice guy vibes, not being a nice guy. Right now the only worth you're telling us is pretty shallow and isn't really indicative of how you are in a relationship or are as a person. Specifically, what makes you a perfect guy? Good-looking people are proven to be treated better by others, so if people are laughing at your jokes or being nice to you, could be a product of that rather than truly being as charming as you think you are. There are so many rich people that are complete idiots and assholes, so your bank account really isn't a perfection indicator either. Are you throwing money or status at a relationship, calling it caring, and that's your effort? You're saying you have money and tried to give her the world, but you're not saying anything really about what you actually did to be a perfect guy. Were you meeting her emotional needs? Listening? Were you actually compatible, or did you find someone you were attracted to and that was your primary connection? Sometimes people are just shit and will betray you regardless of how good of a person you are, but before you don the title perfect guy, truly reflect on who you are as a person and how you behaved in the relationship and what was it really founded on. Well, I can't know for sure if I was the perfect guy emotionally. I think I was, and if she had an issue with how I was acting she could have told me. It sounds like it was her problem, because if it was me she would have told me. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.